An especially hard day for this family here. I want to walk you through some of the damage here. Look at this. This is actually the car of a family friend who was staying with them from the West Coast, trying to get away from Hurricane Milton. And as you can see, the car's wheels up, pretty bad damage here. This car ended up hitting the garage door, on the roof. Firefighters were here on the scene helping take it down. And look at the massive hole in their ceiling. I'm joined here by meteorologist Steve Weigel. We're in the Rustic Ranch community now, a community that's really come together after this devastating tornado. Steve, as you walked up to the scene here, there used to be a home here that has been completely destroyed. A family of 15 miraculously survived. And Steve, I know you were walking around this area, and some of the things that we spotted in the debris pile, it's just surreal.
People's lives.
Here we are in front of the McMaster's home. They live here in Lakefield West in Wellington. And I want to show you just some of the things you can see piled up in front of their house. Beautiful Christmas decorations that they're not going to be able to use, obviously, for these holidays. And just some of the other items, if you walk with me here, some outdoor furniture. They had the kids' bicycles, some of the furniture from their rooms. A gathering there at the overpass on 95 with an American flag there hoisted above as members of our community gathered to show their support for her family, for her service, to thank her. She served this community with strength and courage, but she was also, as Megan has talked about, a devoted wife, a loving mother, a cherished daughter. All of those who loved her most are, of course, following closely what is happening. As we understand, her mother and mother-in-law are on a cruise, and of course are having to end that trip to rush home to be here for this tragic day. Video taken by our crew first on the scene shows the SUV on its side along Beach Road. We're still working to learn what's its condition and exactly what happened in the moments leading up to the crash. We also do not know if anyone else was perhaps involved. We are hearing from the Martin County Sheriff right now, John Budenseek. Let's listen in. It's not the first time we've covered small planes making emergency landings on busy roadways. Just last year, in fact, in St. Lucie County, a pilot experienced a mid-air emergency and had to land near the Treasure Coast Air Park. Both the pilot and the aircraft were okay after that incident. In those moments, though, a pilot has to make those quick life-saving decisions on where to land. And to give us some perspective on what goes into that decision-making, my co-anchor, Megan McRoberts, who has a pilot's license. Yeah. You've been through that training. What's it like? This course, historically, right, really tough for some of the best golfers in the world.
Yeah.
And I heard Ricky Fowler talk about sort of that balance between having patience and also being aggressive when you need to be. And coming out the first round, of course, he's like, I could have done better, yeah, but I'm going to be patient with this one. So what's your take on that? Only on 5 tonight, we're getting our first look at the moment St. Lucie County deputies first encountered Rhonda Polynice, the mother accused of killing her child. Investigators said she told them she was trying to exorcise her 6-year-old of demons. In the video, deputies approached Polynice outside her home right there, telling her that they are checking on her child who had been reported missing from school. First at 4, a live look at downtown West Palm Beach. We are tracking increased fire danger across the Treasure Coast, Palm Beach County, and Okeechobee. I'm in the Weather Center with Chief Meteorologist Steve Weigel. Steve, I know this weather's sort of perfect for us. I mean, the temperature's really nice.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
But then it's like that double-edged sword with the fire threat.
You're absolutely right.
We're working to find out more about credit card debt. It's a subject we're diving into this month. A lot of us, I think, are familiar with what credit card debt is at some point or another. Unfortunately.
Right.
Matt says he's joining us now here with the stress and how that can affect your overall physical health. Todd and Megan, this is helping really meet a critical need in our community in all of South Florida. And Todd, I got to say, you might be the good luck charm we needed, because just after you left about 30 minutes ago, somebody phoned in a $5,000 donation. That is truly incredible. So far, we've been able to raise $10,563.
Janny Rodriguez joins us live from Wellington. Good evening, Janny.
Good evening, Matt and Shannon. A lot of families, I'll tell you, are nervous going into this hurricane season because of this. You see right here, the Reddock family. It's been 7 months. They have not been able to move back in, waiting on insurance money. They had a lot of damage from that tornado that came right through their backyard, that EF3. 200 homes here in Wellington had damage. 20 of them had severe damage. This one was one of them.
We have some bad days where we're all upset and just want to come home, but it's really hard to live in here right now the way it is.
Their home of 10 years was destroyed by a powerful EF3 tornado on October 9th, 2024.
That's the backside of Kevin's house right there. And as soon as I got in the house, I could look out these sliders right here, and you could see it coming.
Yeah, which are...
And it was just ripping everything, all my furniture. I could see all the trees. It looked like a big, and eventually just looked like a white wall. So we all went into this bathroom over here.
Seconds later, Kevin, a Boynton Beach firefighter, says he was met with a devastating reality.
Blew out all the windows. So the tree came through this, and it had a big oak tree in here. These slide glass doors, we never even found them. Have no idea where they're at. They're gone. So everything got sucked out.
Debris and shards of glass were scattered everywhere inside. Most of it now cleaned up, but you can still see some of it stuck here to the wall.
I did the best I could to seal them.
Most of his windows are now boarded up, including some upstairs and right down the hall into his daughter's room.
And it blew her window. You can see what it did to her furniture. Just messed our furniture all up, ripped these drawers.
He's grateful they're all okay, but with hurricane season around the corner...
We're nervous. I'm nervous every time it rains because some of these windows still leak. Even though everything I did to them, they're still leaking.
In the meantime, they're staying at a rental home, waiting on insurance money to replace windows and fix the drywall.
This has been horrible on my family. It's been really, really, really bad. So I'm just trying to get it done so we can get back in.
He says the last step would be to put in a new roof, but that's been an ongoing fight with his insurance company.
They will not replace the roof. They only will fix it. They have yet to send anybody out here to inspect it. It's been 8 months. I mean, it's kind of getting ridiculous.
This is NBC Nightly News with Tom Llamas, reporting tonight from Miami.
Now you've made history as the first Latino to anchor NBC Nightly News. What does that milestone mean to you personally and professionally?
Well, first and foremost, I want to make sure I make my community proud, and I do that by making sure I stick to my principles as a journalist, something that I learned and honed here in South Florida. It was so special to come from this community.
He's a familiar face to many in South Florida.
And good evening tonight from Miami, one of the hottest places in the country in more ways than one.
Tom Llamas grew up here, and it's where he discovered his passion for journalism and where it all began.
And it's the honor of a lifetime, but I want to make sure the viewers know this, that we're working for them. And so that means to report the news without fear or favor and to be tough but fair. I didn't write those principles of journalism, but I live by them, and it's something I learned here in South Florida.
The son of Cuban immigrants, Llamas told me his love for news started at home.
We watched a lot of news in both English and Spanish growing up. We were an NBC family, but then we would watch Telemundo because my parents wanted to get news out of Cuba and South America.
And it's the values that his parents taught him that helped shape who he is.
My parents came here with no money. They didn't speak the language. They worked really hard. They followed all the laws, and their son is able to now become the anchor of Nightly News. I worked very hard, but I learned that hard work from them and from the Cuban-American community here.
Now Llamas is taking that commitment to a much bigger stage.
The way I look at Nightly News is I want to make sure we inform you. I want to make sure we empower you with investigations and news you can use. And then at the end, I hope we inspire you. That's why there's good news tonight. I want to leave you on a good note.
I'm Tom Llamas. We thank you so much for watching. Tonight, and always, we're here for you. Good night.
Wish we had much more time with Tom. It was very nice, very personable.
Yep.
It was really special because, you know, him and I share some of that same upbringing, Cuban immigrant parents. We both grew up in the South Florida community. At a recent Let's Hear It event in Royal Palm Beach, we met a group of kids eager to tell us about their favorite playground in the village of Royal Palm Beach. And they also used the opportunity to talk to us about changes they felt were needed there. So I got to work to find them solutions, proving that no voice is too small.
We're about to go for a wild ride. Okay, come on then. 3, 2, 1, let's go!
9-year-old Ivan Rodriguez loves spending the afternoon with his brothers and best friends at Crestwood North Park in Royal Palm Beach. It's the newest of 20 parks in the village.
Yeah, let's play tag.
I first met the boys at one of our Let's Hear It events at the park, and they quickly tagged us with concerns and suggestions for one of their favorite spots to play.
Small stairs, interactions.
And they should add kind of like a tent because that stuff, it gets so hot.
I got to work and reached out to the director of Parks and Recreation, Mark Pulowski, who met me at the park and listened to what the boys had to say.
Something I will take back from their comments that's on a smaller scale is surface level play features. So a lot of times, like within the columns of the other play features, you can add some surface level play features. You could add like a tic-tac-toe feature type of thing between two columns.
Okay.
You know.
Would that be something you guys would actually look into
I
for
could
this
certainly
park?
I could certainly look at something like that.
It makes me feel great because then my baby brother Camilo, he won't get hurt anymore as long as with the people that are 3 and under.
Another concern the boys had that I addressed with Mark was the need for a shade structure above the playground.
You know, in South Florida, potentially we've got hurricane season too. So any of our big shade structures have to potentially come down.
He pointed out other parks in the village, like Bobby Joe Lauder, with a shade structure that cost just under $40,000 and was completed in 2024. You might notice, though, the playground there is not as tall as the one at Crestwood North Park.
There's always give and take in planning a park site. So the give here was that we were responding to a request for taller play features.
Although it'll take time, Mark hopes these young trees will mature and give shade in the future.
This was just a plain sheet of land. There was no existing trees or landscaping here.
Now the 5+ acre park has something for everyone: basketball, tennis, and pickleball, volleyball, 2 pavilions, green space, and the playground.
Regardless of their critiques, I see the smiles and joy in their faces, and that's what I get to do every day.
And I got to say, Mark Pulowski, what a wonderful to meet us out there and listen to their voices. He says every year in April or early May, actually, the Parks and Rec Department, they go through, and really the village as a whole, they go through its strategic planning process. This is when they look into their 5-year plan and make tweaks, including maybe even perhaps any modifications that might get made to this park here, Crestwood North Park. The kids were incredible, very smart. They were happy and eager to see us there. And hopefully, once those changes are made, we'll be able to go back out to the park. Chris, tomorrow may be a better park day than today.
Yeah, almost certainly.
Every breath, every paddle, and every second matters for this 2-time Olympian getting ready to compete for the 3rd time on the refugee Olympic team in Paris.
My name is Fernando Dayan Jorge Enrique, gold medalist. My sport is canoe sprint.
We got to tag along with the 25-year-old canoeist from Cienfuegos and his coach, Alain Nogueras, during one of his daily training sessions in a canal near his house. He speaks very little English, so our conversation continued in Spanish.
¿Cómo es que te preparas mentalmente?
I asked him, how does an Olympian prepare?
Como mi religión.
He tells me, like my religion, I train, I rest, I train, I rest. A sport he learned to love from his dad at just 10 years old.
Fue muy bonito poder aprender.
It was very beautiful, he said, to be able to learn from my dad. My dad is my biggest hero.
Mi mayor héroe.
Try to keep the pressure, the blade, the barrel, so that way you can control the...
Fernando finished 6th in the 2016 Olympics, then competed in Tokyo in the 2020 Olympic Games and won a gold medal, a first for Cuba in Olympic canoeing. He realized every athlete's dream, but was still chasing something far more elusive in Cuba, his freedom. I rethought it many times in my head. I knew I had to make that change in my life. In March of 2022, the Olympic champion flew to Mexico with the Cuban team for an Olympic preparation camp. He broke away from them at the airport. He saw it as an opportunity to cross the border. As soon as I got to the airport, I managed to escape the Cuban delegation, and then I was in Mexico for a few days, and I started heading toward the border and crossed into the United States. The United States granted Fernando political asylum. He told me it was a very difficult decision after winning an Olympic medal to leave your country. A lot of people asked me how, after having done that, I was able to leave. But, well, I didn't want to belong to the deceit of Cuba. His quest for freedom being realized. His Olympic dreams in doubt. Having the opportunity to compete in the Olympic Games is something even I didn't think could happen. But in April, he was awarded an International Olympic Committee Refugee Athlete Scholarship. I've always been very focused on what I want, and I work hard for what I want. A golden opportunity on the Olympic stage in Paris.
Are you excited?
Yes, I am very excited.
the De Leon family wanted to share their pain, their hardships, and also the courage in hopes that this would help another family. When I first met Tobias and his mom, Charity, he had just been diagnosed with cancer. She had to close her small business, sell their home in Green Acres, and really start over in many respects. But today, I'm sharing a bit more of their journey and the remarkable little boy, Tobias, they'll get to see grow.
Go ahead, back and forth.
It's the end of treatment for Super Tobias, now a healthy 4-year-old.
It's relief, so much gratitude because there's so many parents that don't get to this day.
A day his family had longed for since Tobias was diagnosed with B-cell acute lymphoblastic leukemia at just 2 years old.
Life will never be the same, but we're creating a new life, and every day we're striving to make it better.
A new life that includes their new home in Port St. Lucie.
Hi. How are you?
During our visit, I learned about Charity's new venture, an online artisan vegan shop and food blog called Charity's Vegan Kitchen.
In the process of just home during his treatment, I started doing a lot of research into what we could do to be healthier.
From her sourdough breads to her homemade jams, she says clean ingredients are her focus.
You go to the store and you buy a baguette and it has like 15 ingredients. This has organic unbleached flour, cane sugar, Himalayan sea salt, and yeast. That's it.
Her shipments go nationwide. And when you're this busy, it helps to have a little helper.
He helps me cook. He helps me. I actually just shared a video on my personal page. Yesterday we were making fresh juices and he was helping me scrub all the fruit.
Mom,
yes.
I'm ready.
You're ready? Okay.
What are you gonna do?
Make cookies?
Charity says helping in the kitchen has been a part of Tobias's healing process. But getting to this point has been their toughest battle.
The last thing that I could have ever imagined was that we almost lost him.
On October 7th, 2023, Tobias had an allergic reaction to a chemotherapy medication.
He had to be immediately intubated. Then they had the doctor from the intensive care come down. And when she told me they don't know if he was going to survive, that's when it hit me.
But after 7 days on life support, he made a miraculous recovery.
And people say, oh, you're so strong. And really, I'm not. I just have no choice. And I can't give up, you know.
Mom, I'm tired.
I know, baby. I'm okay.
Charity's relentless love and support saw them through to this day. A beautiful beginning for a little boy with a special superpower.
Focus on each day. Make it through this day, then you make it through the next day, and before you know it, you'll be at the end.